man.
What do you think?
Awesome, obviously.
Is it good?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I had to turn it down twice. So I tried not to blow your eardrums out.
Yeah. Dan loves anime, guys. Just letting him.
Well, for people, so Kingdoms, like, I guess you would listen in your car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And over your speakers, and then you turn a video on, and like I didn't know how to do volume adjustment.
Oh, yeah. You would just destroy everyone's eardrums, man. Like, work is already loud enough. Oh, man.
That's my song. I bought that song.
You get to copyright other people now.
Yeah. I guess, man. I don't know. But I have an outro that long, but I won't play it this time. So,
yeah.
How's it going?
Going all right. A little tired, but, it's going to be Friday. So it's all of that. I don't know, man. I don't even want to look at my portfolio because I get nervous when I see too much green real quickly. I get real nervous with that, especially if it's indexes, man. Like, it's been way too quick. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
it's been a crazy week. Yeah.
Like, I'm an investor of SCHD, right? So, like, that thing has been just going bonkers in the past couple of weeks, man. Just insane. But
I love that pairing because it's like, I haven't really deployed my Roth money yet. It's just like, I don't have the whole $6,000 in there yet, but I haven't really bought much. It's just sitting there because I'd like to, I don't know. I haven't really figured out what I want a CHD or G yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like the optionality of that.
Yeah. Long term, I'll probably have 5 ETFs in there, but for now I got the 2. I don't really, for my TFSA, I got a VFV, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 Canadian currency of VO, just because TFSA, you want to go with the Canadian ETF. With the RRSP, the US ETFs are the better way to go about it because we get tax exempt because we're part of the 18 Western countries, whatever, for America, where they have those tax exemptions. So,
nice.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So
only for retirement accounts. So definitely, if you live in Western Europe, look into that for your retirement account. You are taxes exempt for U.S. equities for when it comes to dividends and stuff like that. So keep an eye on that. This includes these.
I just have to say, I enjoyed this thumbnail.
Oh man,
I get like people bash thumbnails and stuff. I'm like, I just have fun with it.
Well, yeah. That's all YouTube is supposed to be.
I think the recorded ones will be more. I should probably just pick a theme, but the live streams are fun though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we say our thoughts, and
I mean, what best case I make $200 a month doing this shit, so I might as well have some fun.
Yeah. Treat the YouTube like if you do get money, just covering your subscriptions, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, the people like, oh, are you going to be a full YouTuber ever? I think they'd have strongman that. It's like, do you know how much money like a CPA is going to make once he gets established?
Oh man,
to quit for this shit, like what Spencer Cornelia told Echoes, he makes like $4,000 a month in ad revenue now.
Like
I make fucking like 3 times what he makes working my slave job.
Yeah, man, you're a slave, bro. Yeah, you what? I think like if you're
I don't have to worry about getting fired or my I don't have to worry about my salary getting cut by 70% or
out of nowhere, shadow ban, all that.
Neither do you. Like we have security and benefits that are better than anything he has. Like, I hate that whole line of thinking.
I think like if you're retired, I can like Rob Berger. I can see something like that, but nothing more than that. I don't know.
There's just a level of risk. Like when they say everyone should want to be an entrepreneur or run their own business, I'm like, there's a level of risk you have to accept to do that for a living. I'm not willing to risk that. I'm not willing to mortgage my house to take the money, dump into a business that might fail. So the people that are, good for them. I hope you make millions of dollars and I hope you become the next billionaire Zuckerberg. I hate when people like, they don't deserve all that money. I'm like, yeah, the trust fund kids are different, but the people that made their money, they put their freaking life on they put their livelihood on the line.
Yeah.
Props to them. Unless they cheat the tax code, you pay what you owe and that's it. But
I'm going to potentially have my first investment, like excluding stocks, which is I'm going to invest in a property in Alberta. So we'll see how that goes. Because that's a province I'm planning on moving to anyways. So might as well just buy a property right now, let some other guy pay my mortgage, and then I could just move in a couple years later.
I would like to do like videos more like that, maybe you and me and Jesse, because we all have we're all different a little bit of how
completely different. Yeah.
Like I'm a little later to the game than Jesse. I know I'm later to the game than Jesse. Like, because I had to go back to school. I didn't have the right career right away, and then you have a bit different. We all have different like situations and investing styles. So for people like that's what I think is great about like we're not the same people. If you watch our podcast, and in the future there might be like someone brings forward an investment. We don't all have to like it or invest in it or whatnot.
Yeah, you're an auditor. He's an engineer. I work in automotive plant. Like we're all completely different. So there's that.
But so I was just gonna say for people watch. So actually I researched this. There was a famous cavalry charge from a Canadian unit in World War I, and that's where I got your picture from. So I put some thought into it. But I got a history degree, so might as well use it.
A history degree
of Moriel Wood. That was my first degree, was history, and then I went back for accounting like 8 years later.
Oh, history's fun, but yeah, it doesn't pay the bills.
It's like a pyramid scheme. The only way you make money as a history person is, well, not anymore, but in the old days, you had to go be a community college or professor.
Yeah.
And teach other people to be history teachers.
No,
but now there's like history. Like, dude, I should have become like a history podcaster. Like, I love history. But like some of those channels, like this is off topic, but Dan Carlin, Underground History, it's so interesting how they present it.
Yeah,
I think if I don't know, in another time I could have done that. I think.
Yeah,
but
I like the animation history channel, so like History Hub. I like stuff like that. But there's that.
Wait, Dex Danson. Why do people? Yes,
bro, it's in his name.
No, people don't believe anything they see online. A few people, people in your Discord are like, "Wait, he's actually like, I am really an auditor."
So. Yeah, because there are financial channels that just say, I'm
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they say they have. Like, we don't know Cameron Stewart. Does he have a CFA?
Yeah, he probably does. Just, I don't want to under like. Throw anyone under the bus, but bro, that guy's. It's
not like being an auditor gives me any deeper understanding of financial statements over like strongman. But I think I'm really good at investigation because that's part of being an auditor more than being just a CPA. Like I actually look into the books. I'll investigate companies online, and then there's interview portions of it. I mean, it's not criminal stuff, but yeah, I mean, I use the tools I have, I guess. I don't know.
Then why did you go all in plug power? No, oh man,
that was a freaking that was a really good. Well, I say short for everything. People, I really mean puts for the most part.
Oh yeah,
saying puts sounds stupid, so I say I short things. So. I know things about plug power because it's local to me. I live 5 minutes from its HQ. I don't really want to. Like, if you're going to go online and bash a company and say you're shorting it, like I'm not doing. I don't know. I'd be worried about doing that. Like, unless you have like Hindenburg research, right?
Yeah.
But I had concerns when they got up to $25, $26, and then it dropped to like I think $8. I was out at 12. I still have concerns about that company.
Oh yeah, I don't think that company survives the next 5 years, but we'll see.
No. I don't think you want to be on the hydrogen supplier side. If hydrogen becomes a reality, I'd rather be on the other side of like the hydrogen cell, hydrogen engine people, rather than the people just make the hydrogen. I think that's a kind of a crappy business. The more I've looked
crappy, commoditized, all that shit. So inflation at 3%, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So for those that don't know, I couldn't care rats booty of macro. I really don't care. I keep an eye here and there, but let's see here. Being an auditor.
I love Batman. It's my favorite superhero.
So you're Batman. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I live in Wayne Manor. Look at me.
Yeah. You're Ben Affleck. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, people hated him when he was Batman. But this is interesting to see. If inflation's already at 3%, there probably shouldn't be any more rate hikes, I would guess. Maybe.
I'd have to think like we have to be close to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're at like inflation's 3% in June. So here's the CPI. I think that was the big news this week that spurred everything, because that came out that the CPI was only 0.2 for June. And I think that's kind of why everything just ripped upwards this week.
Yeah, I think people are saying that the government's manipulating some of the numbers, and it's like that's probably true, but
they do. Yeah, these numbers, like when my department publishes numbers, I don't even know what goes into it, honestly. And the formulas change over time. I don't know who actually, like when my department puts out like statistics, there's a statistics unit, but it's not clear what they do and don't do and what they take out. So yeah, I mean, yeah, these numbers do get fudged.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting how to see. So, but let's just say these numbers are all correct and everything. Does that mean my payroll stock is gonna print tendies, man? Like that's what it sounds like to me. I don't know.
I mean, it's not part of our topics, but the China trade deficit got worse.
Oh no. Oh
worse
no.
even than expected worse. So China's in big struggle territory while America's job numbers are going up, inflation's going down, China is getting like it's
like
pretty good to be a US investor. International trash.
We literally keep slamming our hands on the desk every single time. Look, there are still countries that are still that still have massive ramifications and hasn't recovered from the 08 recession. Like Spain. Spain still has these elevated unemployment rates since then, right? So with this, with COVID and all that, similar situation. So many of these countries are not going to recover from it. But hey, buy VT, because the thesis with VT is literally, if you're a moron, go all in VT.
The problem with the risk of underperforming in the US is greater than the risk of missing out on international gains. Yes, I would argue.
1,000%.
So you're risking missing out on like QQQ rips, right? He missed out on a percentage of that if you had S&P or QQQ, you did better because you were all US. So he missed out on that. And it's like, okay, well, what if that happens again and again and again? The US can keep doing better. There's no, I don't know why people keep thinking just because the US has been winning for 20 years now. The US has been winning since 2000, except for maybe 2 or 3 years. So I don't understand. Like, you could pivot in life. Like,
yeah, we keep showcasing the data like every single time. They're like, oh yeah, but international US, they go in cycles. Yeah, but like the upside for the US cycle is way greater than the up cycle.
The up potential of the US is so much greater than international. I just think it's too risky that you're missing out on like where the US could be going with onshoring. They can make the tax codes maybe better even than they are now. We just have a better environment for innovation. AI is coming. Where do you think all the AI, robotics, computer jobs are going to be?
We still have the reserve. I mean, not we. I mean, I want Canada to be part of the States, so I'm a sellout Canadian. But like, jokes aside, America has the reserve currency. They have the benefit of skilled workers from other parts of the world wanting to come to the United States as well. And you got that. You got that. Oh, I know. Like some people are going to say, "Oh yeah, oh no, recency bias."
Recency bias. The U.S. has vastly outperformed international since .com. Okay, except for a few years. So what? Okay, how? When are we not recency bias? Because my entire investing life, the U.S. has been a better investment than international. So how do I have to go to 50 years? I've been investing since 98, 99.
150 years,
25 years. How this is like, I love this. This is like a boglehead thing. Oh, you're long term. I've been 25 years in the markets. US has been the better investment. How much further ahead do we have to go to 40 years? 50 years?
No, bro.
How many fucking years of investing until we can say that this is not true?
No. Yeah, bro. 150
how much BT
years.
do you own, Dark Knight?
150 years. We need Djibouti to like outperform. All right.
Because all I can tell you is the advantages the US has are getting better, not worse. Yes. Okay. They're getting better. Like US is a better environment for businesses now than it was, in the 90s, I would argue. And so it's not getting worse. And then you look at the China numbers. I don't know. Go buy all your international if you want. I would personally buy some targeted international stocks. I don't have any right now, but we've talked to Staccato. There is some European companies and Asian ones I'd be interested in individually. And I think I'd do better with that combined with US investments.
Yo, Bacon dropping facts though. Them penguins in Antarctica, like, telling you, man, them penguins, like, with all the, even with the great heights of the European empires, they couldn't conquer Antarctica.
So here's inflation. Because the other one was CPI. This is inflation. So you can see it's moving along. I have to think we're near the end of the raises. Do you think we'll just be in a period where they just don't make any changes?
I can see that.
I can see that, just the beginning of the year, J-Pow just kind of holds steady, no increase or decrease.
Yeah, maybe I think they slowly decrease interest rates. I don't think it will ever see zero again, but I think we can see 2% long term. 2-3%.
I mean, it's pretty incredible, honestly, what has happened. If we just like look at the last, what do you say, year and a half, just would you have thought the economy, like on it, like with all the interest rate and inflation that we went through, we have there's an active war in Europe. I mean, we're just getting through COVID, and I can't believe some of the boom we're having in the world, in the US. It's pretty amazing.
I'm just shocked that like we haven't gone into a full-blown depression yet. So
I know.
I thought we would have hit that eventually. And we still could, right? 2 years from now, all the cows turn purple and we're in a depression. Like, I don't know.
But like Kingdom Amir, like we're not trying to pretend we're macroeconomic guys. Because like we could show you all these charts, people. It's still about buying companies. I mean, I don't pay attention to this shit normally. I really don't. It's still about finding good companies and investing in them. Or a company that maybe had a slight bad earnings, but you think the company long term is fine, like Alta. It doesn't matter what the macroeconomic environment is. It's still just investing. I just think people would retail would be better and more efficient with their time if you just focus on looking at companies. This macro shit, channels on YouTube just do it because it fills time.
And it gets the views and all that.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Like, it's so boring. I just don't see it.
Yeah. And someone's going to tell me that it matters. And I'm like, prove it. I mean, what investment have you made on macro trends online? I've never heard of them. They're going to tell me it, but it's a company thesis or a social. I don't know.
Like, even though I'm against trading, if you are a genuine trader and you're trading with the macro stuff, I understand for your scenario why you care about macro. But if you're an investor, this stuff should not matter. Like, you should, for certain industries, you definitely want to keep an eye on it, but it shouldn't like, drive you away from investing, right?
You know what happens? Macro people, we've seen a few of them. They fucking sit in cash all the time.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They're terrified. That's what I've noticed. The macro people have lots of cash all the time, 20, 30, 50, all their money. And I've shown it. I'm sure you have. Time in the market is worth more than time out of the market always.
Yeah. Like, even timing the worst, you're still better than the person in cash.
Yeah. Even if you bought like on the worst day of the market.
Yeah. You're still like killing it.
Even if you bought at the worst times of the last decade, you still were better off than being cash. I don't know how many times we have to say it.
Yeah.
These people that and they're the ones that get the most terrified. They're going to underperform more than VT. These macro cash dudes.
Yeah. Look at these next two comments. They're pretty good.
Which one? Okay.
Yeah. So this one, the US has been overvalued for like what, 20 years?
Okay. Like Paul Gabriel. Okay, Dark Knight. Paul Gabriel, Everything Money guy. Okay, I'm sure you know him. He has been writing articles, and I have them, that the US stock market's been overvalued since 2012, dude. 2012. I have an article that Paul Gabriel wrote saying the US market was overvalued. I have one from 14, 15, 17. Overvalued. He just keeps screaming it. What has happened since then, dude? This comment has no value to you as a retail trader or investor, whatever you want to call yourself. It's overvalued according to what? Are you doing trends back to fucking the Great Depression? It doesn't matter. It's about finding good companies. That's not changed. I found good companies this year. Alta was a killer trade for me. And I've got one that's cooking really good right now. I don't really want to talk about it, but I told you and Jesse about it. But
oh yeah. The next one's pretty good as well. Oh no, Strongman's here as well. Jesus.
Oh, I know. Someone probably just sent it.
All right. If you had to invest in a country that is not the
Ooh.
US, I'll have a top 3. Can I go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't let me pick one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. So India will be number 1. Netherlands or Israel? I'll go because this is an order for me. I would say Netherlands number 2, just because I just love KLA way too much. Like I just can't. As well as Monolithic, I think is also Netherlands. And then third would be Israel. Israel's a super hidden gem country for stocks. So there's that.
I'd say, okay, top 3. Yeah, India, Israel, and third would maybe be France, because I really want LVMH. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, France. Yeah, I forgot about them. Good old macro content. Your boy, As Kingdom White. I'll answer, bro. You're too goofy, bro. I can't have you in my comments, man. You're too goofy. You got to be a bit more mature, man. Like, come on. Like, I need the mature.
Wait, strong man, come on, be honest. Like, so we can't look at past performance, but yet you look at past performance, year-to-date performance of SCHD.
He looks at past performance for
cycles. I could look at 3 year and 5 years, and SCHD has outperformed VT. So
no.
We can't use backward-looking data unless it fits our narrative.
Yeah. No. But he can use but he can use past performance for cycles, right? For international cycles and all that. Like, I don't know. It's kind of goofy. But at the end of the day, we're
all doing better than the average American.
Exactly.
So people watching, it's like, look,
it's tomato.
We all got hundreds of, we're all doing really well in life. Mm-hmm. It's all right. Like, nobody's getting into
it's like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Well, and in case for strongman, like root beer. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But yeah.
Strongman and me are gonna have a whiskey drinking contest in Virginia Beach. We'll see.
Oh, who will have the best tolerance there?
It depends on the drink. I'm not good with some of them, but
actually going back to Great Depression. Sad Antarctica is a country, so it doesn't count. Yeah, because Antarctica's like, heaven, so it doesn't matter. I think over the long term, one should have no China.
Why?
Get that out of there.
You don't own anything in China, dude.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
If they invade Taiwan, all your money's gone. Good luck.
India, yes. Southeast Asia, yes. Eastern Europe, no. Bro, they're getting bombed right now. And they're all former communist countries. Bro.
Oh. All right. So we should what do we got? So someone asked in Kingdom's Discord, they're in Europe. So for people watching, he might be watching Max. They're in Europe. They don't have access to ETFs like we do in the States. So I've seen this question before where they're like, I want to be a dividend investor or at least have a dividend portfolio, but I can't buy like DGRO or SCHD or something like that. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think like for European, like if I was living in Sweden, I would still, I think we'll do just fine because I would only focus on like high quality European companies. So like they have a high ROAC, high growth. But would I exclusively look for dividend growth companies Europe? Hard to say. Just because, a lot of the European companies, like for example, Poland, they do a lot of these like variable dividends, kind of like AGCO. They do stuff like that where if earnings are great for 1 year, they'll just dump it all to shareholders, stuff like that. So you got to be more strategic that way. But if you're European, still have access to U.S. markets, excluding excluding ETFs, then honestly, like just looking at an ETF and just kind of going from there, having a couple big tech exposure, having a Johnson & Johnson in there, I don't think that's like the worst idea.
I mean, this is a great for ideas. I like this, like some of the names they have in here, the Wisdom Tree Dividend Growth Fund. But like, so if you can't pick any ETFs, I mean, what I would say about like a dividend growth portfolio, like, man, like you want to pick varied sectors because dividend growth is about long-term holding. So you really need to try and find companies you're going to hold for 20 years. Because if you have to sell them, like if 3M happens to you, that's what your number one concern is.
Yeah.
So I would look at, so you'd want to have some diversity in your sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like Microsoft, ADP, Caterpillar. You've got varied sectors. That way, when some hopefully there's always something investable. So like say you have 10 companies in broadly diversified sectors, you could have a mishmash of higher yield, low growth. You should probably, if you're younger, more higher growth dividend names. But then those are riskier because they're usually smaller companies that are still trying to prove themselves.
I think like if you're on the younger side, maybe have your portfolio lenient a bit more on growth. So like maybe have a little bit more technology exposure, and absolutely eliminate some industries that you just don't need in your 20s and 30s, even 40s. So like no communication stocks, right? Excluding obviously Meta, Google. Exclude like utility stocks, communications, telecommunications. That's all the same. What else? I would hot take REITs as well. I just don't think you need REITs, bro. Like I just don't think that's.
Yeah, I think definitely stay away from telecom and utilities.
Mm-hmm.
It just they don't produce. Like go look at Verizon if people want to go look at like a max chart of Verizon. I think its stock price has gone up like $5 in like 15 years. Like
yeah. I would also say
they have to constantly put capex in, even if they don't want to. It's just not an appealing business. Same with utilities; they have to stay up to date. They can't put off upgrading their systems. They have no choice.
And if you're a bit nervous on the, first of all, volatility doesn't make something inherently more risky. Like I've seen some channels say that, but if you can't stomach like 40% drops in a day, which happens to commodity type stocks, then avoid those. So like oil, raw materials, home builders, stuff like that. You can avoid those as well. Just focus on companies that like, and industries that, they're kind of like a bellwether in any given economy. They'll do just fine. So like health insurance companies like Elevance, Humana, Cigna, like they'll do fine in any sort of environment. They're not really, unless if 1 year all the seniors decide to have surgeries in 1 year, which that's what this year has been, right?
I mean, the black swans for them. You don't want to buy the ones that have already fleshed out, like McDonald's or Procter and Gamble. I don't like they've already like how much bigger you think they're going to get. Like that's the tricky part. But then the young, like smaller companies come with different risks. And I don't know if you were going to build something today. Like obviously my picks are from many years ago, but I would have a few like solid bellwether dividend, like Texas Instrument, ADP. Like those are, and Caterpillar, like those are solid starting points. And then maybe you could have some speculative dividend growth, like Lam Research or something.
Yeah. If I would add a fourth country, right? Funny enough, it would be another European country, which would be Sweden. I've been finding so many gems in Sweden recently. It's been ridiculous. So Max, ask yourself this. First of all, like, where do you live, right? Like, obviously, I think looking at your backyard, looking at your own country, looking at some hidden gems, I think is a good way to go about it. See which companies in your own home country is growing a decent amount. So for Canada, we have like Constellation Software, we got Toromont, we got some small PE firm names like Clairvest. That's a good hidden gem there. Lumen Group, Topicus. These are fast growing, high ROIC, good compounder type companies. Just look at your backyard, whatever that. Now, obviously, if you live in like China, then it's trash. But like,
like, I don't think a varied dividend is necessarily like a bad thing because like I have Agco, and I really like Agco and Packer. I don't have Packer right now, but like I like if you listen to management, the way they're doing it is they want to have optionality in how they're investing their capex. So they have a smaller quarterly dividend, and then they do most of it in a big chunk once a year. So the management can decide, do they have some sort of investment that they feel will generate a good return for investors? And if they don't, then they'll just give back the money. Yeah. But they're not beholden to that quarterly dividend growing too high that they might have to cut someday. So I like that for them, and they're in manufacturing, the two of them. So I think it makes a lot of sense for Agco and Packer. If that's what Europe does, that's not bad.
Europe
can still be a growing. It's not going to be a pretty growing chart like Procter & Gamble, but
Yeah, Europe is more intense. So if you type in BESI, so BESI, that's it's semiconductor company in yeah, right there. Yep, Bessie. So this one, if you look at their dividend, I don't know if they since it's international, might not showcase good.
Might not show up.
Yeah. So that sucks. Maybe look financials and look from there.
Oh no. Yeah, here it is.
So their dividends are so sporadic because they pay out 90% of their earnings as dividends. They kind of have no choice in that matter.
But I mean, look at it grow. I mean, it's doing pretty well.
It grows a bit, but then it just drops again. So it
Yeah.
has well, also maybe this was a little bit of a meh example just because it's semiconductors. They just tend to be cyclical anyways. But bottom line is European companies, like they're kind of like in certain parts, they're like forced to give that dividend. And it just fluctuates like a mad lad. It's insane.
Socialism.
Yeah. Ugh. Like so try to if you're European, like you use euros, look into a lot of those smaller European companies that don't pay. I think dividend stocks for European companies are actually a net negative. So
I don't know if dividend investing makes sense in other countries. I always tell
No.
people in America we have tax advantaged dividends because they fall under a lower tax rate.
Yeah.
A lot of countries I don't think have that. So I don't know if it really is an investable process, really.
Yeah. No,
if someone comes at me, oh, my dividends are 40% tax, you're stupid. I'm like, that's your country, dude, not mine. Like,
yeah,
I don't live in Moldova or whatever the hell you live.
Yeah, like for Indian investors, you never look at the dividend. The dividend is so dividend investing just does not exist in India. You want to just focus on growth investing. Just look for companies, and low key though, almost like every company in India is growing nicely. But there's a lot of fraud also, so keep that in mind. There's a lot of stuff over there. That's why I never discuss my Indian holdings.
The other thing, that's why I hate looking at. I'd have to pay for extra research for European international companies because we don't have those tools really.
Yeah,
not the normal websites.
Yeah, but
well, I mean, other than it's good. Like, don't feel you have to pick U.S. companies. Yeah, you might have good investments in your backyard, and you don't feel you have to be a dividend growth investor. I don't know if it's advantageous.
And I'm telling you, man, if you live in a country that uses euros, instead of paying those currency fees, just look at some European companies. Look for certain metrics, like a decent ROIC, maybe like 10 to 25%, something like that. Growing above 10%, current ratio above 2. You'll find some really good gems out there. So
he asked about Lowe's and Visa and a third. I don't remember the third. So what are your thoughts on Lowe's? I guess briefly. We don't have to.
Oh yeah, good company. Good company. Will probably outperform the markets.
So the big thesis I figure is basically there's such a huge deficit in housing in America.
Yeah.
So that's their big selling point when you look at their presentation, that they're prime positioned to benefit from huge explosion of housing in America that we are behind in. So
yeah.
And they show all these pretty graphs, and this guy also has graphs showing that houses are getting older because we're not keeping up with demand, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. The two plays that I'm looking at it for this space in particular is Floor & Decker and Pool Corporation. Those are the two that I'm looking at.
So, I would say, honestly, I'm looking at other investments.
Yeah. I'm looking at the smaller
Lowe's. I'm not. I don't think that's where it's going to be.
Yeah. They're just, the sheer size of them is just too much. Like, I just want to look at the smaller ones growing a bit faster. And I really like Floor & Decker. That one's, I don't know, that one's pretty good. So, but yeah.
The one concern I have with Lowe's, I mentioned before the stream, is that if you go to their income statement, you can see, so 2020 hit, you can look at the shares outstanding, huge buyback. They bought back 120 million shares, right? And then we go to the balance sheet, go back to 2020, long-term debt. Look at long-term debt, people, 24, 27, 36 billion. So
yeah, bro.
Did they get a good deal? What's the debt look like? They might have. Did they just do this because they got really good, loans at like almost zero interest? Which, if you own Lowe's at the time, might have worked out. But now you have to buy it now. So I don't know if it's such a good deal. And hey, look, it worked, right? Here's 2020, and then here's the last. If you were an investor during that time, that worked out. But now you have to buy it after they already bought all the shares back. So I don't know. I don't find it that interesting.
Yeah,
I said, like you said, like I think there's other investments in it, and that thesis can be true. You believe in an explosion in housing in America. You don't have to pick Lowe's and Home Depot though. Like I showed Andrew last week, Simpson's Manufacturing. I have a small position, but I'm watching that. There's other parts of housing or builder supply. There's other parts of housing that you could, I think, look for investments in, other than these huge mega, $150 billion companies.
Because again, like another thing people need to keep in mind is like moving the needle for these. The sheer size of them is just ridiculous. Like they bring in another 10 billion, it's not going to make a big difference for them. But
this company, like I said, this company builds brackets and engineered hardware for commercial and residential properties. So there's stuff you can look at like this. Are you going to get this type of return with Lowe's? I mean,
probably not.
No, I don't think so. Like, or
unless if they say AI, but
yeah, builders first. This still astounds me. It makes
Jesus Christ.
It makes I don't understand it. I've tried to figure out what happened, why.
What did they say?
I don't know.
Like
crazy.
Does their detached homes like transform into Optimus? Like what's going on there? Like, geez,
so they do. Well, for people watching, this company supplies like the lumber and materials to the home builders. So, I mean, I'm big into Tractor Supply. I've already had that. My stake is. I probably wouldn't buy anymore at this point. Tractor Supply is. It's not so much about explosion in home building in America. It's more about, I think, just a demographic shift in America for me. So I don't know. It wasn't really.
No, Tractor Supply is a good one. It's fine.
But people get like, this is, I like, why would you sell this company? You hold this thing for 30 years.
Like, oh yeah.
Oh, it went down, bro, from 250 high. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it at 200 though.
A little bombshell for me. I don't think I'll ever buy Alta just because I recently re-added Aritzia. So I'd rather not be too exposed to that space. But yeah, I like Aritzia a lot. So that's the one that I'm gonna keep building out over time.
I bought it right in here somewhere, 211. I rode it all the way up to, I think, about here.
And then you sold
there. And then it went, woo!
Yeah, look at you, Mr. Day Trader.
I didn't top it. I didn't set the top. I came close though, but
yeah. I will not do that again. Like I learned my lesson that anytime I sell something, like here's the thing, it pumps like 10% in a week and I sell it. I'm like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm a genius. And then it goes up another 30%. I'm like, God damn it.
Like if I had filled out a total Alta position that I wanted, I would have just held it. But it, I don't want to worry about a company when I only put like $2,000 into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not worth my time. I'll take my 15-16%, move on.
Yeah.
So,
like
I let it go, right? There's no FOMO in me. Let it go.
Yeah. Like I don't know, Dan, but like if you look at the payroll stocks, ADP, Velocity, Paycom, I think they all bottomed. Like maybe it's too early to say that, but like it looks like they all bottomed. I don't know. Looks like it. So
what's funny? Like people constantly gripe. This is separate. People constantly gripe. There's no good YouTubers. There's nothing good on YouTube. Blah blah blah. All that. I can tell people watching. We've put out some damn good freaking financial content between us, Jesse, and Exit Liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've put some winners on there. They just want to gripe about everything. Some people. I'm like, there is good knowledge. You just have to be able to pick through it because it's not all gems, but there is stuff on there that you can take and make investments on or do your own. Because I'm only going to give you 20%. You got to come up with the other 80% of it.
Yeah, I guess it's a good segue into talking about just Exit Liquidity in general. We want to genuinely bring on people that we like as well. Like we're not going to bring on anyone that we genuinely don't like. So when we brought on Ryan, we were all fans of him before we brought him on. Like I liked Ryan for a while, Dan as well. And Staccato, I was a big fan of Staccato for like a good 6 months. And, I really like his stuff. I like his editing. It's great.
I was aware of him when he went after Paul And then when we lined him up for an interview, I then watched more of his content. Like, I don't really know how to peg his investment style, but I like what he puts out. He well thought out content. His video on PayPal last week was excellent. I thought he really got to the meat of the problem with PayPal and the concerns. So he does these like 12, 15-minute videos, and he just gets, man, he's just right to it. He's really good at this YouTube stuff.
No, Staccato's really good at what he does. And would love to have him on eventually. Same thing with Ryan and all that.
Yeah, Staccato, if you're listening, we don't want to seem like we're like asking too much, but if you ever want to come on again, but we don't want to ask you like every month. Like,
no. It'll like the rule of thumb. If we ever like bring on a old guest, has to be like minimum 3 to 6 months. Like we want to give them some space.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We're all, hey, you want to come back next week? What about
no. That's because we do want to bring on a bunch of different finance channels, like a bunch that, like for example, I would love to bring on Eric from Investing Sucks. That would be an awesome one.
I'd like to bring on a fire person, honestly.
Yeah,
that's a perspective I've never. Like, I want to understand these fire people.
Yeah. Let's bring on one that's like just a genuine good dude. Like, here's the thing. You don't have to agree with the person to just have a discussion. No. That's the thing, right? People are like, no, I disagree, grifter. It's like, bro, you're using that term. So goofy, man. You can't just call everyone a grifter just because you disagree with them.
Yeah, they can have a different process than you. Yeah. And that's not wrong. And
yeah. No, like a scam. They're literally doing what they're saying. That's the whole point of FIRE. They're literally showing what they're doing. They're getting a high-paying job in their early 20s, usually with a significant other. And they're literally preaching what they're saying. They're retiring. They're trying to retire early. So, and again, like it's not something I agree with, but you can respect the hustle. So, it's more so if they sell a course, and I'm like, you're taking the wrong highway, bro. like you're going to Boston. All right. I don't know. Like they got the worst roads over there. Like, I don't know what you're doing, man. But I don't know. Oh, Gen X dividend dad. Gen X dividend invest. Who is that guy?
Oh, he's like the OG. It's him and PPC Ian.
I know PPC Ian. I always kept saying PP Ian. PPC Ian. Bro,
I'm well aware. So Gen X dividend investor made most of he was like a software engineer and he had index investing. And then when he went to retire, then he became a dividend investor. So some people have critiqued him saying he didn't actually invest that way his whole time. It's like, well, nonetheless, he's showing you what retirement could look like with investments. So just take it as that. Like, don't get bent out of shape that he didn't have the same process his entire life. Yeah, freaking you change in life, right? Like,
yeah, and that's so cool. This guy made a lot of money first, retired, and then became a dividend investor. That's
so he gives you that perspective of when you get to the finish line, what do you do? And he gives you the perspective of, okay, this is how you actually live the actual end goal. Because most channels are just like people like us, where you're just building towards the end.
Yeah, and you know what? His way is actually is actually more common the more I'm thinking about it, because a lot of people do start later in life anyways. So yeah, I can see that. I think Gen X is a lot more common than I'm.
And you've seen from the old people are degenerate, just like the teenagers, dude. I'm telling you, they're just same level. The teenagers and the old people are the same degeneracy, and it's so weird. They will buy just the craziest shit. And you just don't understand, like a 20% yield, like leverage fund or something. Or they'll buy like Tattoo Chef.
Yeah.
And you don't understand, like, how did they get to these points?
And I really get upset with the older side because it's usually one significant other that's doing it without the consent of their partner. And that's very disheartening. So
no, we will never bring on Paul. I don't know why people keep asking.
No, he is he's rude.
First of all, he doesn't do, like, you people like, oh, you should bring on people you don't like.
No, why?
What? Why would we do that? Like, literally, why? Just because it's entertaining to you? Like, you people say you want investing.
No, they want entertainment.
No, you just want to be entertained. It's
entertainment, drama. That's
all.
There's
no value that could be brought bringing Paul on here. And what, I'm going to yell at him? He'll just freaking disconnect. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I feel like my mentality, and this is why I would love to bring on Echoes on a podcast, just because, and by the way, for those that don't, I did send him a DM. So hopefully he responds to it. But in general, I do want to, because I feel like, and again, fair play. Retail did lose a decent amount of money, but there's a lot of great finance channels out there, a lot of great ones, people are just lumping all of them as garbage.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
And no, they're just saying they're all garbage, and it's like, so there's a difference between scamming people and being wrong on the stock. I think that's something that we need to get out of the way first, right?
There are, like, I'm gonna tell, like, because I come to the dividend from COVID. I didn't have this dividend YouTube exposure. It was just Reddit before. But like, there's a lot of good channels. I've made money following pieces of it. Nobody's going to lay out an entire goddamn thesis rainbow from a stock to the research to you making profits. Like, you still have to take pieces of what you hear, put it together, do your own research, and make the investment. So these people, if you think you're going to get the whole process on YouTube, you're screwed in the first place. Like, but if you come with some open mind and some experience already, it's a great tool. It's a tool. It's not a teaching. It's not going to teach you how to do everything, but I think they come with the wrong perspective. Like, if you just came to look at what Fabio's videos and copy what he did, why are you doing this to yourself? You're not going to be committed to stocks like he is. No. You didn't do the research. You're not going to make the gains. You're probably going to panic sell, because there's investments Fabio has had where it's gone south at first, but he holds it because he did the research. He knows why he bought it. And then it goes up, where someone else was just bailed on it, and then you'd lose money and cry that there's no good YouTubers. But is it his problem, or is it it's your problem?
Yeah, and that's one thing we got to discuss. Like, I mean, it's 50 minutes here, but like, we got to discuss this, like, definitely separately. And I think if we ever bring on Echoes, definitely we can talk about it there. Accountability, like, how much do we have to put it on ourselves? Because we live in a culture in the Western world of victimization. Like, everyone's a victim. No one is taking accountability for their actions, not just investing, just everything. So we need to start taking accountability for our actions. Not saying the criminals aren't criminals. Like, if they genuinely are a criminal, if they're promising 30% returns a year for their course, yes, that's illegal. That's a criminal.
So, like if someone's brand new to investing, and we've talked to a few of them now on your Discord, and I've had some message me directly, and it's like, you don't have to go in right away. Like, you can be into investing. You can do like the core satellite I was saying, or you could just go straight into, like, okay, I'm going to buy SPY, or the portfolio version of SPY or VU. And I'm going to do that for 7-8 years till I get like $10,000. While I'm doing that, I'm watching Reddit. I'm reading books like Peter Lynch. I'm watching channels like this or Fabio's. And then you're just take it all in. You don't even have to invest, and you're building your wealth while you're learning. You don't have to do this both at the same time, because then what if you get burned? What if you bought Tattooed Chef, or what if you bought Palantir at $25, and it's like, now you're fucking jaded about it. But I don't know.
It's the conviction that matters. And that being said, the degens tend to have decent conviction for their stocks. So definitely put your ego on the side as well. If the stock is down, like if you buy a stock and it's down 20%, like, don't be like, oh, I have conviction. Warren Buffett said, like, don't use Warren Buffett quotes, bro. It's like, actually look into it and be like, if it's a genuine reason or not. You could be wrong on a stock. No need to double down on something that you're wrong on.
But I think like hearing different perspectives on portfolio sizing has been, like, Hayden has a great perspective on portfolio sizing, different from Jesse, which I thought was really interesting, and different from you or me, because we all have different. So, but none of us are going like Hayden would go up to 10%, but I don't think people understand the amount of research that man's done.
Oh yeah.
Because we've only seen parts of it on Discord, but he has gone deep on these companies. So for him to say, yeah, I'll go 10%, let it run. Like, I don't think people are like, he's done so much due diligence on that stock to let it run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where for you just to see some YouTuber tell you to buy Crocs and then you buy it, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't go 20%. Like, you didn't deserve that investment.
Yeah, man. But Crocs, freaking Crocs. Oh my God. I like it now.
I'm going to talk about it at some point, but maybe. I don't like talking about stuff until I'm fully in it. and then I can talk. But
yeah,
there's moves being made with that. So
I just want to talk about every single stock on the planet. It doesn't matter to me. So
I guess we can skip Visa. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
you mentioned Visa. The only thing I'd say, Visa doesn't pay a very high yield for dividend companies. I don't really consider a dividend growth company unless you have the same yield as SPY. It's not a dividend growth investment really, unless you can get like 20% growth. But then we've talked about this. Like, how do you know? Like, I'd be scared. How do you know Zell's not going to take over? Because the banks made Visa and MasterCard for younger people. The banks made Visa and MasterCard, and then they made Zelle. So who's to say Zelle? They just don't pick Zelle because it's cheaper. Because I've heard from friends that run businesses that I know, and then I, in my work, credit card transaction fees are killing some busineses. So there is, you could say, an incentive for the banks maybe to move on from getting gouged by Visa and MasterCard. I don't know.
The UK?
I would be really concerned holding this for a long time, and I don't see how you'd get a huge. Are you going to get a big alpha over just like an index?
Yeah. And the larger you get, the more people like finger point and more like countries and, lawsuits tend to happen for those companies. And I know Visa had some issues with like the UK and Western Europe. I do have a hard time thinking about selling off investments for retirement. I'd be stressed. Yeah, that's why I'm personally 70% index, because like I don't have that stress on my shoulders. Obviously, I try to have that long-term mindset. Like with Constellation, I don't see a situation.
Yeah, I know what he says, because like if you're relying on selling stocks in retirement, what if we hit a bad patch in America or whatnot?
Exactly. At least with a dividend growth investor or just a dividend investor, you can.
But there's a few different ways for income. It doesn't have to be a dividend from like Microsoft. It could be preferred share. Like Andrew and me were talking about, a preferred share ETF could be a good option.
Yeah.
Or bonds, like that's a typical thing. And so forth.
What I see people do once they hit their 50s, after they've already been investing in the index for 20, 30 years, they start lowering that allocation to the index and increasing that fixed income exposure. So maybe like 10, 15%, still be heavily. Bro, it's KOF, bro, not KOM. What's M?
Misspelling fail.
Kingdom of Machine. Oh my God.
Yeah, I like Hayden. Hayden's great.
The guy's a beast.
Hayden's made some outstanding investments. Like,
yeah, Hayden's been good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Crocs has trash sandals though, but whatever.
So I guess, okay. Next topic, I guess.
What's this?
Not talk about threads and Twitter.
Bro, I don't know anything about social media. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Besides WhatsApp, because India to the moon. So
I mean, good for people that are in Meta already, but
I
buy Meta at this point. Like, I don't think you should. So I don't know. But I think Twitter's in trouble. From what I'm looking at,
I think
this is like user data for Twitter. Look at this. Since he bought it, like,
I think Twitter will be fine. I think Snapchat's the one you want to keep an eye on. I think that one will probably get destroyed. And we'll probably get acquired by
advertisers. Like half the this was from March. Half the advertisers of Twitter didn't come back after like Elon bought the company, and like it's freaking I don't know if there's much of an investment thesis here right now. I can't believe this is real. I thought this was.
Did he say that?
He really said it. Look at it. I mean, that's his account. I thought that was fake when I saw it. This dude. That's unbelievable. The richest man in the world, or second richest, said that. Like,
hey, yo, Zuck, bro, you gotta throw hands at this man. Zuck would absolutely destroy his face, bro. I'm telling you, Elon is trash. So, I'm all on the crocodiles, bro. The reptilian alien. He's called Otter.
Very clever, cheap gamer. Never heard of you. Burn.
Bro. Isn't he like a big Elon simp as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, Disney.
So I added this in after. But Disney. I don't know what you want to talk about Disney. So the news came out, they extended Iger, and he talked about they might sell off some assets now.
Yeah, I know Fabio loves this guy, but I prefer Warner Bros. Discovery. So I don't know. I don't really like this. If I were to invest in an entertainment stock, it would be Warner Bros. Discovery. This is kind of meh.
It's just like
They don't
it's
even have
such a
DreamWorks, right?
bloated mess of a company, and
Yeah.
I don't know how he unwinds some of the mistakes they've made
Like
with
if
some of
I
the.
if I had to okay, let's talk about this real quick. If I took over Disney, right? This is what I would do. Get rid of Hulu, divest that, sell it off. I don't care. Figure it out. Sell it. Then get rid of Hotstar. All that Indian stuff, get rid of it. Or like bundle it all together, spin it off in the Mumbai exchange, whatever. What else do you do? And that's pretty much it. Honestly, that's like the two meh segments. And then aggressively reinvest your cash flows into your parks and resorts and do massive expansion that way. So
Like I've said this before a million times. The problem is just like the whole. I don't think the Disney Plus model was just a bad idea.
yeah, their royalty model was so good.
So now they're not profitable. They're still not profitable with Disney Plus, and now they're losing subscribers. So like, what are you supposed to tell investors? So now, we're scaling to profitability. Okay, well, you're losing subs now.
Yikes.
It's still not. They're still losing billions of dollars a year. They're having to pull. They're creating content for Disney Plus, and then they pull it off like 3 weeks later. Some of the shows they've made. So obviously it's underperforming, and then a lot of their content's not getting well regarded on Disney Plus. The movie thing, I don't know if it's such a big deal because a lot of other companies are struggling in the theaters right now. It's not just Disney. So he's got a lot of work ahead of him though. It's just I don't know. Like this was what this freaking Fox deal. That was the killer. They took so much debt to buy the 20th Century Fox properties.
I just don't get the value with it.
No, I don't understand why it didn't make any sense. And I don't know. Maybe he divests that. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, because he had talked about they might spin off some of their properties. I mean,
they should spin off. No, honestly, spin off 3 things. Spin off the Fox stuff, divest your Hulu, whatever, and then all the Indian stuff as well. Do the Indian stuff, bro. If you look at the margins, it's like nothing. It's like the margins are so bad, they're competing with TTCF. That's how garbage it is. So
they gotta
get bundle all that stuff, give it to some Indian entertainment company, let them figure it out. And maybe if you want, maybe have like a 5% ownership in that Indian company, but like it's its own separate thing. And just focus on your core stuff. Focus on your parks and resources, reinvest in that, because their infrastructure for their parks are not the greatest. So reinvest in that. Reinvest in your film stuff, your IPs, as well as your Disney Plus, and try to figure out if you can somehow, revive the royalty. I think it's too late. I think they have to double down on Disney Plus now.
So. Well, I don't. Who was somebody gave Carlson mentioned some company gave a show to Netflix to air. Was it HBO? I think. So maybe these companies start bringing back royalties. I mean, it's just great. They have such a great library of content, Disney. Why focus on volume of content just to fill out Disney Plus? They should be creating great movies, great television shows, and just license it out.
Yes.
Royalties. That's the path for them. Every streaming service would have Disney on it. Like, you'd have to.
I think good. You know what? This might be a tough pill to swallow. Eliminate Disney Plus and just bring back the royalty and royalty it out to Warner Brothers Discovery as well as to Netflix, because those two will be the dominant players for a very long time. And big tech is trying to get in as well.
Or do you scale back Disney Plus so you don't make it a full streaming service? Do you make it just a library of content?
Legacy content, maybe.
Yeah, but not, and then a few shows here and there, movies, but not like enough to fill out a full streaming service and then license out. But
maybe make
so many better
Plus
ways to do this, I think. And
maybe keep ESPN Plus, and then and you can just throw in a hollow version of Disney Plus where it's like maybe some legacy content from like 2000, but all your new stuff, you royalty it out to like the big tech companies with Amazon, with Apple TV, all that, to Netflix, as well as to Warner Brothers Discovery. So there's that.
So we'll see. I mean, like I'm still, if I did buy a streaming, it would be Warner Brothers. If they really got killed at some point, like in the near term, like the share price, I don't know. It's the only one I'd really be interested in. But
yeah. What else we got? We're in the 1 hour. I think that's pretty much it for the most part. Some questions. Or not questions.
That's the end of the topics. So
yeah,
about an hour. Not bad.
Yeah, not too shabby. Oh, JC says he loves ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus, underrated. It's
the people that are saying they should spin off ESPN. I don't.
No.
What a valuable property. I mean, figure it out, right? They've laid off a bunch of people. They're cutting costs. They'll make it work. Like they don't have, and they're not like some of their deals, like some of their sport deals. They can just not renew them. So they're not stuck in those deals. Like maybe like they're stuck for like 7-8 years in a sport deal, but they can just not renew it. But they'd be crazy to get rid of ESPN.
1,000%.
But yeah, I think focus on monetization of their library, and then get the parks up, and focus more on the parks, put out quality movies again. I don't know.
Yeah, stuff like that. But I think that's pretty much it. What else? Any other comments? There's not really much.
Fabio doesn't like Iger. No.
Oh yeah, that was a joke. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Think weak men.
One last question.
All right, let's see. If you had $1,000.
Oh my god.
If you had $1,000, where would you invest it and why? Probably broth. No, I'm just kidding. 1,000 right now. Where would I invest it? Probably Elevance. It's been underperforming quite a bit. Health insurance. I would say Paycom, but it's starting to run up a bit. So either Elevance or Brown & Brown. So
Crocs, all Crocs.
Crocs? Oh yeah, there's Crocs as well. Nah, I've been nibbling more Elevance. So I'm building on more cash so I can, buy more Elevance below 400. So we'll see how that one goes.
I mean, it's such a starting or somebody that's well into their journey.
Exactly. Well, I think he just says like now if you had the 1,000, right? And it's like, but if you're
if you already are well established, there's investments out there. These people that are scared, there is stuff to invest in. Exciting opportunities that there's a handful I'm looking at. So
yeah. But starting out, bro, you just put in your bank account savings, build out the savings. But
yeah, it's like, are you looking to just trade something that you get out of in 3 months, or are you talking about 20 years? It's like, I mean,
if Monolithic Power Systems has a little bit of a pull down, I might invest in that one too. So there's
if you had 1 year, I think Nexstar Media is going to go from where it is now to 250 after the campaign, after political season's over. But
isn't that you said, what did you say in the DM with Jesse? It's a broadcasting
company.
Trash. So boomer.
There's more to it than that though. But
as soon as I read that, I'm like, gross.
I know, you just gross.
That's it. Oh man. Order ESPN to focus on sports again. Don't give it away.
I give it away on my streams, not other streams. Yeah. No, I think, the whole talk of getting, it was some active investor wanted them to sell ESPN, and he wrote letter after letter to Iger. I'm like, dude, stop it. That's such a valuable property. Don't
give it away. Is that a joke for some? I guess, I don't know. You got your secret investments.
High yield savings it is. Okay. It's such a vague question. It's so hard.
Yeah. You got to be more specific.
What do you want us to say to you?
You got to be specific, Steven. High yielding. Yeah. So if you're just starting out, if you're just starting out, savings. Build out that emergency fund. Try to build out 6 months. If you're fear of a recession, you may want to build it out to 9 months. Right, of just times it with your expenses. So if your expenses are $2,000 a month, times that by 6 months, 9 months, something like that. So there's that. I think that should be it though, right?
Yep. So with that, let me get my outro. Well, I'm just going to play a quick one. So
all right,
we're not doing 2 minutes again.
Okay.
Well, with that, thanks for watching. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another one next week. I guess we'll see. So we will see you on Exit Liquidity on Sunday. All right, bye.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you for your cooperation.